Hey everybody, this is Katrina with Geek News Now. I am here with Angela. She is the creator of this really great card game called Frankenfur. It's basically, what would you say, like a mad scientist game?
Yeah, it's a mad science themed monster building board game. Just a quick correction, I'm only the artist.
Okay, still, she's fabulous.
I don't want to take all the credit. This was made by a small team of 3 people, actually.
This card is fabulous.
Yeah. Really, I like to think so. I'm biased. But, this was made by a small team of 3 people, most of us local to Austin. One of us in Atlanta, but we love him anyway.
Yeah, one of the hosts of our podcast, The Geek Gauntlet, he's actually out of the Augusta area, so near the Atlanta area.
Oh, wow. Small world.
Yeah.
So, Frankenfur is a mad science themed monster building game in which you are a mad scientist making a Frankenstein's monstrosity out of various animal body parts that you find in the deck. It's a deck builder, so there's a set library that you make your deck from, and then you compete up against other mad scientists to make the biggest, baddest monster to unleash on humanity.
Oh, that's really great. So Angela's going to give us a brief demo here. For those folks that want to be able to get the game, where can they buy it?
Well, we've got a website at tropicalheatstudios.com. Where you can get our game. We try to do cons in the Austin, San Antonio area, so if you meet us there, you can always pick up a copy. And those are both the best ways to get a hold of us.
All right, great. Well, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on to that demo.
Welcome to Frankenfur, the fast-paced fur-flying monster-building battle game. This is going to be a brief primer demo on how to play a round of Frankenfur. The gist is that you are a mad scientist making a Frankenstein's monstrosity out of various animal body parts that you find in your deck that you build all by yourself. You need a head, torso, arms, and legs in order to build your monster, and you need to power up your monster by sacrificing cards to it you'd be using in play otherwise. Any card in the game can either be used for its intended purpose or as an energy source to power your monster, putting points on your field. What we're going to do today is just run you through the gist of a turn from start to finish. So a turn of Frankenfur starts, of course, with the draw phase, where you take one card off the top of your deck and put it into your hand, shown off screen. And after draw phase, we enter action phase, where there's a few things you can do for free once per turn. This is also where I'm going to go over the types of cards that you can find in the game. One thing you can do is declare a body part for your monster. In this case, we've got a crocodile torso. Some body parts have effects that trigger when you do this. Some of them let you draw cards when you play them. Some of them have effects that ruin your opponent's day, but this one just gives you big boy points. Another action that you can take is play a experiment. These guys have a little beaker flask on the top of the card, and they are on-use cards. They have an effect that triggers. In this case, I get to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And when that effect resolves, it goes into your graveyard. Another action is you can play an assistant. These guys have a hypodermic needle in the top left corner of their field, and they are your bestest friends. When you play them onto the field, they stay with you until something removes them. An opponent's attacks, a card effect, what have you. Assistants also have effects that stay with you as long as they are on your field. In this case, this guy allows me to search my deck for a body part that is red, purple, or orange. You'll notice that all the cards in the game have different colored borders, which denote their play archetype. So each color is attached to a certain style of play. And we're looking for a body part with any of these 4 logos in the top left corner. We've got a torso already, so I'm hopefully looking for something different. A little like this, a purple pair of legs. That goes into my hand, and as long as this guy is on my field on the next turn, he lets me do that whole move over again. This last thing is called energizing, and it's how you get points on the field towards winning the game. When you take an energize action, any card in your hand can be flipped horizontal underneath your body part, and that card is now powering your card. Body parts, in order to become fully energized and make your monster alive, have a couple of numbers attached to them. There's a minimum requirement to become fully energized, and also a bonus point number that you receive if you make it to the end of the game with it fully energized. This torso takes 2 energy to be fully energized, so if I made it to the game with only 1 card underneath, I wouldn't get any bonus points. I'd just get the amount of energy underneath the card. These are all actions you can take during your action phase, and are the primary core loop of Frankenfur. As long as you remember these actions, You have basically a sure shot way to get from one end of a turn to another. You end a game of Frankenfur by having at least one player reach a fully energized monster. That would be all 4 body parts on the field, and all of them with the required amount of cards. In the case of this torso 2, in a lot of the cards, it's going to be 2. The first person to reach a fully energized monster initiates Doomsday the last 3 rounds of the game, initiated by saying, "It's alive!" in your best mad scientist voice. Doomsday is the last 3 rounds, starting with the person who goes after the one who initiated Doomsday. Let's say your opponent. Your opponent takes 1 turn, then you take 1, and that goes back and forth until you get the 3rd and final turn of the game. That is your reward for reaching your monster the fastest. After Doomsday, points are calculated, and for the sake of clarity, let's say you end with a board like this. I hate this board, and it's not going to win me any games, but it makes it easy to count points. You count points by, number 1, taking the voltage points, this number at the bottom, of your assistants, the voltage points of all horizontal energy on the field, and the bonus points attached to any body parts that you have fully energized. This would be a 7, a 5, a 7, and an 8. This would be a 26 point board. This is much lower than a normal game of Frankenfur. For the sake of the demo, we're keeping it short, but an average game of Frankenfur tends to get to 80 to 100 points. And this is the long and short of it. It's a pretty easy game to pick up. There's not a lot of foreknowledge you need to know about other card games, and it's easy to get your friends into. Spread the virus.